Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video, I'd like to advance a little theme that's developing, which combines the vote of no confidence in Boris Johnson, set for another hour, and the future of Brexit. Johnson's allies are claiming that Tory rebels are motivated to bring Johnson down in order to reverse Brexit. Oh, if Johnson gone, Brexit's gone. Well, now, while this is clearly ridiculous, it is credible to suggest that the Brexit path could change if Johnson goes. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So the first person I can recall linking Johnson's downfall with Brexit unravelling was Andrew Adonis last year. He's the Labour peer who is one of the leaders of the Rejoin campaign. But I've never really seen the proof of this assertion. Boris Johnson is not the high priest of Brexit. He's not even a believer. We all know that Boris Johnson was a critic of the EU, but a strong advocate for remaining inside it. What Tories call a pragmatic remainer. He not only understood the benefits to the UK of remaining in the EU, as well as the single market, but he was able to explain them very clearly in interviews stretching back years. So although he spent years grifting a life in gutter journalism by bashing Brussels, he never wanted the UK to leave. Then a political opportunity arose. He would campaign to leave in the hope that he failed so that he could win the support of Eurosceptics in the Conservative Party. He entered politics to become Prime Minister. That was it. Wasn't for money. Makes less money in politics than he did in journalism. You know, David Cameron was going to step down come what may, though he did run away rather more quickly than planned when the referendum result went badly. But Johnson knew the time was coming. He couldn't get enough support from Tory MPs for a leadership bid because they all hated him. So he would act as a conduit for Euroscepticism. So he switched from Remain to Leave as part of his initiation procedure into the ranks of the swivel-eyed loons, which I suppose is better than doing unspeakable things to a dead pig, I suppose. But he was never a believer. Johnson was chosen by MPs to lead them in order for his campaigning skills. He was considered to be the only one who could win an election and unite the party. And for a while, to be fair, they were right. But the idea that Johnson is holding Brexit together is not immediately obvious. He's not the driving force behind Brexit. He just wanted to be Prime Minister. He would have promised to pursue any policy in that course. If the ERG were less bothered about the EU and more bothered about frogs, he'd have promised to wipe out every frog in Britain to win power, and with just as much personal interest as with Brexit. The real priests and acolytes of Brexit in the Tory party are going nowhere if Johnson falls. So why are Tory ministers now echoing the words of a former Labour minister in saying that if Johnson falls, so too does Brexit? Well, Jacob Rees-Mogg most prominently expressed this view in an interview, but it's a line being reported to be pushed by several allies of Johnson. And there could be a couple of reasons. The first is that there are a number of cabinet ministers who should not be in cabinet. If Johnson is replaced by a stronger personality, they are more likely to promote competent MPs to the most senior positions in government. That means several cabinet ministers all losing their jobs. So of course they will fight tooth and nail to keep Johnson in place unless they think they have a crack at the top job themselves. Frankly, if Johnson goes, the only way some of these muppets will remain in cabinet is by replacing him. Not that this would help Nadine Dorries, because she's got no chance of that either. That's why she's going around threatening to stab anyone who says anything critical about Boris Johnson. But the second reason is it's just a way of resurrecting the old Brexit battle lines. The last general election was fought on a platform of Brexit. There are no Remainers technically left in the Conservative Parliamentary Party. All Tory candidates were required to publicly declare their support for not only Brexit, but specifically Johnson's vision of Brexit. There wasn't even soft Brexit allowed. Any candidate who refused to do this was not allowed to be the party's candidate. It was that simple. So although some clearly lied, it did have the effect of purging the parliamentary party of a lot of Brexit sceptics. Almost all of them, in fact. Brexit went being from what divided Tories under Theresa May to what united them under Boris Johnson. So claiming that Brexit is tied to Johnson is a way of saying that if you vote to get rid of Boris Johnson, you're voting to undo Brexit. Some of them seized on Tobias Ellwood's argument to rejoin the single market last week. They're pointing out, oh, see, this is a Remainer, not really a Tory, he's not really believing in Brexit. And he's also one of those who's publicly calling for Johnson to go. So drawing a link there, and false equivalence and spurious correlations are, of course, tried and trusted tactics for Conservatives the world over. But if reports are correct that the number of letters submitted calling for this confidence vote to be believed, it could be, because at the point at which I'm recording this, we know there's going to be a confidence vote. We know it's going to be today. I do not yet know quite how many letters it is. It could well have been quite a lot. That means that the vote is supported by a lot of MPs. So at the very least, it's going to be tight. And it's a tough one for Johnson supporters, because obviously it's a disaster for him. If he loses, it's clear disaster. I mean, that's obvious, goes without saying. But it's a disaster if he only just wins. And I keep saying, I want him to win with 52% of the vote. But Johnson needs a strong win. A tight win means that he's only got support of half of his MPs. So his allies will be trying every trick in the book, pretending that their precious Brexit will disappear in a cloud of smoke's just one of them. Might be tricky, mind you, because David Davis and Steve Baker have called on Johnson to resign. Trying to, tried all sorts of things. Oh, yeah, it's a Remainer plot. Oh, it's a lefty woke plot. It's like, what, you mean Remainer lefty wokes like David Davis and Steve Baker? Really? Because they are the high priests of Brexit. These are the two of the most committed Brexiteers in the party. Without them, Brexit would never have happened. But that aside, would there be a change to Brexit under a new leader? Well, we can't get a full reversal, of course. Bear in mind that Johnson adopts his Brexit position because the ERG forced him to. Well, the ERG will bring that same pressure to bear on a new leader as well. But maybe there are other pressures inside the parliamentary party. Perhaps there are Tory MPs who would like to jettison some of the unnecessary Brexit baggage with Johnson. In an interview this weekend, the ever-hapless Grant Shapps pointed out that he didn't vote for Brexit. Now, yes, there are cabinet ministers who campaigned to remain in 2016, and there'd be no point for any of them in trying to say otherwise now. But why offer up the information without being prompted? Why? If you are committed to Boris Johnson's Brexit vision, it doesn't half look like the statement of someone who wants to remove themselves from the responsibility of what's to come. Well, I didn't vote for Brexit. I mean, I only did it because will of the people. That's something you'd only need to do if you believe two things. First, that the consequences of Brexit are about to become very serious indeed. And second, if you believe that key sections of the voting public are going to see that link between Brexit and the consequences. Now, Shapps is too thick to come to conclusions like that himself. So it may well be that although Ellwood is the only one to have stuck his head above the parapet here, there are Tory MPs talking about Brexit more earnestly behind closed doors. Perhaps Shapps is acting like someone who actually thinks the Brexit battlegrounds are about to open up again in the Tory party. After all, if Johnson is defeated in this confidence vote today, and that's far from certain, there's a lot of people going, oh, I think it'll go this way, I think it'll go that way. We don't know. We've no idea. No one's got any idea. Tory MP, it's a secret ballot. They can vote whatever way they like. And, it's a tough one for them. Many Tory MPs, at the point at which I record this, they're getting ready to vote in a few hours. Some of them might not even know which way to vote yet. It's a toss-up. They might actually be flipping a coin. We should be having a look. Have a look at MPs as they go towards Parliament. Are they carrying any magic 8 balls with them? How should I vote? But then, the challengers are going to need a platform, aren't they? If you're a Tory leadership contender, if Johnson falls, you're a Tory leadership contender, what do you make your platform? The economy? Yes, okay, that's a given. But what policies do you promise? How do you say you're going to get the economy back on track? You can't say, I'm just going to do what Boris Johnson did, but without, necking bottles of wine while I'm doing it. I don't think that's really going to stick. So it's impossible to talk about any economic plan without a big Brexit watermark through it. You could try and bullshit everyone and talk of Brexit freedoms and deregulation. That's what the ERG want. That's what I suspect Liz Truss will try because she's trying to get their support. That might work. Or you might decide to base your offer on a realistic appraisal of the situation and, as Ellwood did, redefine Brexit as political but not trade separation. Say that leaving the single market was trade separation. That's not what people voted for. It's not what we need. It's not what's best for us. Be interesting to wonder if Tory MPs are talking about how to manage a path back to the single market politically, and that Elwood is just helping to get the ball rolling by writing his article last week. That being said, we have to remember that the reason why the ERG were largely in control of our Brexit path was because more sensible Tories failed to stand up to them for fear of the damage it would do to their party. Why would anything be different this time, with those supposedly sensible Tory MPs now representing a much smaller proportion of the parliamentary party? Still, we could worry about all this if Johnson does lose that confidence vote. Right now, completely unknown what would happen in the vote, but the lack of a credible successor has to make Johnson slight favourite to win right now, you would think. But like I said, we really don't know. But we'll see. If the vote goes very badly for him, and that could mean a slight win as well as any loss at all, then yeah, Tory MPs may have to start not only thinking about but discussing Brexit again. Be interesting to see if any fault lines appear. But those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, please click the like button. Maybe even click on the join button if you'd be interested in memberships. And until next time, I'll see you later.